After nearly 2 years, Twitch has clamped down on crypto casinos, which were driving one of the biggest viewership trends on the platform, gambling. There are likely to be exceptions aplenty and loopholes big enough to drive a Brinks truck through, but unregulated crypto casinos are done on Twitch, and in this case, it looks like the hand of Twitch may have been forced. But does it go far enough? Well, I don't think it's the beginning of the end, but it may well be the end of the beginning. So let's dive in and see what this announcement actually means. Alright guys, before we get into this, I just want to let you know that if you or someone you know is dealing with a gambling problem and wants help, there are resources available to you near where you live. You can follow the link in the description to visit the National Council on Problem Gaming and find out more. Let's clear up one thing first. Gambling has been on Twitch for a while, and this new announcement doesn't prohibit many of the forms you're familiar with. I repeat, this announcement does not ban gambling entirely. As per Twitch's announcement, poker, fantasy sports, and even sports betting will be allowed on the platform going forward. But as of October 18th, slots, roulettes, and dice-based games on unlicensed platforms will be banned. Okay, so having said all that, what is this ban actually targeting? Well, for the most part, the kind of gambling that's taken over some of the biggest streamers on the platform doesn't have anything to do with poker or fantasy sports. What you see huge streamers like XQC and Trainwrecks TV playing are games of pure chance on unregulated casinos that use cryptocurrency to skirt rules about gambling. The restrictions in place in the US aren't designed to regulate Bitcoin transactions right now. XQC started getting heavily into it in early 2021, and Trainwrecks also took a run at it in April of that year, and the streams did pretty well, the lucrative sponsorships kind of making it a no-brainer to continue doing them. But as things progressed, people took notice that gambling was becoming one of the most popular things to watch on Twitch, and they started to get upset about that. Why? For one, Twitch is a public-facing website with no real age controls. Like, sure, the terms of use say that if you're under 18, but at least 13, you need to have parental supervision to use the site, but I seriously doubt some middle schooler's dad is gonna sit and watch XQC play Sugar Rush with their kid. It just doesn't seem realistic. Plus, he's got better things to do, like, I don't know, pretend to be a cat girl online or something, right? And it's not just about kids, like, discovering gambling via Twitch. That's not really the argument that people are making, because obviously at some point they're gonna discover gambling. Like, they'll just understand that it's a thing that exists, and okay. What's different about this is that a massive internet personality, one that a child might idolize or adore, is selling the gambling to them, even if there's sometimes some mixed messaging about everything.
Do not gamble, idiots. You understand, if you watch the entire context of all my gambling over 15 months, you'll see it as 99.8% fucking losing. You understand? Do not look at big wins out of context. Do you understand that? You will literally lose.
Plus, it was pretty clear that the way these streams work had the potential to create some bad gambling habits. The bets were big, so were the wins, but the losses were often even bigger.
Minimum win by 50 bucks! Minimum win by $50 on a 1.2K bet. This game needs to be fucking removed. This is so bad!
And because of the sponsorship terms, read, they might not even be gambling with their own money in many cases, the streamer isn't necessarily being damaged by those losses, but normal viewers don't have that option. The streams got bigger, and so did the deals, with Trainwrecks TV raking in, quote, much more than $1 million a month for his sponsorship. Now, that doesn't mean those streamers kept all that money, because at least in XQC's case, he admitted that he kind of had a problem.
Would you have as much fun gambling if you were doing it off stream than on stream?
Yeah, I gamble every day. I lost 2 million this month.
Really?
I lost 1.85 million this month.
Guys, don't gamble.
This thing kept getting bigger and bigger, and it was clear for the gambling sites that these sponsorships were worth it for them to reach tens of thousands of viewers per stream. But something had to give. Maybe not an outright ban necessarily, but at least some kind of regulation. But Twitch actually did basically nothing for that entire period of time. In August 2021, they prohibited links and referral codes to illegal gambling sites. I'm sure no one will be able to find that gambling website now, guys. Great job. So, despite some early concern and then rising calls to do something about all this, Twitch was basically useless for nearly 2 calendar years, while some of the biggest streamers on their platforms became billboards for unregulated crypto casinos. Those casinos, by the way, are not exactly the most ethical entities out there. An investigation from internet detective CoffeeZilla last year revealed that streamers who were signing up their fans for Roobet would earn a percentage of those fans' losses, if only indirectly.
It's kind of clever, actually, because now, instead of being directly tied to their fans' losses, they can plead innocent. They're still profiting from their fans, but, in that indirect economic percentage sort of way.
That's right. In the case of some of these affiliates, it was in their best financial interest for their fans to go and lose as much money as possible. I don't feel like there's too much value in going over very specific deals, but suffice it to say that these sites felt that these extremely expensive sponsorships were worth it, even in situations where there isn't a clause like the Roobet one that I just mentioned. Like Stake, for example, was paying enough that Drake felt it was worth his time to do a gambling stream, so they were definitely willing to shell out to get airtime with big names on Twitch. So what changed? Why now if Twitch has spent nearly 2 years doing nothing, basically, about this situation? In my view, there are a couple potential reasons why. Firstly, some of the other biggest creators on the platform began openly discussing a potential boycott on stream. Devin Nash had already quit the platform to take a stand on gambling, and he, Pokimane, and Miskiff floated the idea in a recent stream, and even thought about targeting the holiday season specifically to maximize the loss of profits for Twitch.
If someone said, Miz, sign this right now and we're going to not stream for a whole week, I would say, can we do longer? I would totally be down. Yo,
I really like
Charlie?
your idea of doing it Q4 around Christmas too, because that'll hurt the most.
Yeah, it would, because that's when they need the ads.
Now, there's a lot of other Twitch drama that's led up to this over the past week, but I'm not able to go in depth on that here. We are going to do a different video about that. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We're just doing gambling today. As pointed out by Hassan Piker's editor, Austinox, Train actually donated $50,000 to the accounts of 2 Twitch employees hanging out in his stream while he was live.
Getting that third win.
Joe, I got you on your 50 still on trip.
Don't worry about it, baby.
Cool. Remy, I'll take care of you too, bro. Orange for a minute. I got you. Papega Fish, are you kidding me, bro? Realm, is that you on 2 staff accounts, bro? Papega Fish comes in, I give him 50K, he leaves. You can't even stay for fucking 5 more minutes? Jesus Christ.
Oh, he said no one's ever sent him anything before.
Aw, no shot. I love that.
Again, this happened live on stream. And later it was confirmed by Zach Bussey that neither of these employees worked at Twitch any longer and hadn't for weeks. While I haven't seen hard confirmation, there was also a tweet dated September 8th that said that former Twitch employee Papega Fish, one of the 2 people in that clip, had passed away. So exactly who Train paid in that previous clip isn't totally clear. I think it's important to note that Train did pay these people, and even if it wasn't an intentional attempt to curry favor with Twitch, something that it seems like these 2 people aren't able to do now anyways, the whole thing looks pretty bad. Even if they don't work for Twitch any longer, it's possible that these payments are for services rendered in the past, or at least that appearance could exist. And maybe they're courageous now that they don't work for Twitch, so they can simply accept these gifts for whatever reason on stream. Either way, not looking too good. Again, to clarify, we don't have specific evidence that points to corruption in this exact case, but I do want to point out that it creates a pretty bad appearance, and I think that's something Twitch would like to avoid. Honestly, that's probably why Twitch finally decided to act, and I think that's one thing that most people will have no problem agreeing with Austinox about. They just didn't care until it became a huge optics issue. Now that it is, they're forced to deal with it. It's a tale as old as time. The optics issues don't matter until they get too big. Then you deal with them because you have no choice anymore. You can't keep ignoring it. And funnily enough, even Twitch's statement kind of unintentionally draws attention to that. Quote, gambling content has been a big topic of discussion in the community, end quote. Yeah, that's true. How long was that, by the way? And why are we only getting action now that Twitch employees, former or current, are having a year's worth of salary in crypto donated to them live on stream, while some of your biggest names are openly plotting revolt? From my perspective, there have been calls to do something about this for over a year. Twitch seemed to not care until it became their problem, and now they're finally doing something. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the language in Twitch's statement doesn't actually ban slots, roulettes, or dice games in their entirety, just on sites that aren't licensed in the US or other jurisdictions that provide sufficient consumer protection. But it seems like the negativity, the threats of boycott, and even just the general stigma around the situation has forced Twitch's hand here, even if it was a profitable situation. With that in mind, even this initial limited step is a big victory for the streamers and content creators that took a stand and tried to hold Twitch accountable. And until we see those full rules in October, at least it's the first step.